ACCUSTATS Video Production presents from Chesapeake, Virginia, the 20th Annual U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. I'm Bill Incardona, and I'll be doing the commentary by myself for this feature match. Wait a second. I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Well, a good friend of mine came to the booth, and he wants to share the commentary duties with me. Professor Grady Mathews. Grady has the two players that are going to be playing against each other in the feature match, Steve Mizerak and Danny Harriman. Mizerak, his credentials speak for him, and Danny Harriman. What do you know about Danny Harriman?
Well, he's a young up-and-coming player. He's a personable, nice-looking, explosive young 9-ball player. As a matter of fact, he plays so well, he was beating our good friend Wade Crane one day 10-2 in a race to 11, and Wade told him, said, "I wish you'd quit prancing around the table looking so pretty like that. It makes me want to make love to you." And but anyway, it kind of embarrassed the young man, but nonplussed, he went on to win the match. I think we're going to have a contrast in styles here, a certainty. Mizerak, the more polished, perhaps, safety and position player. And if it comes to having to produce a long, difficult shot, young Harriman would be the slight favorite, in my opinion.
Well, Harriman is really an explosive player. Just last night in the match between Harriman and Carter, I think Harriman was trailing in that match by the score of like 9-3 or something. It was really a significant margin. And he came back strong against Carter. Now he's still in the winner's side of the tournament, facing Mizerak now, and I think he won that match at 11-10. He made the 9-ball on the break in the final game, by the way, like Rippy did on you yesterday.
Well, that's a quality way to lose. It's about as good as anything else.
And he possesses one of the strongest breaks in the country.
That he does. And we're going to get a close-up of that particular enactment right now. We would do out a little bit. Well, Steve Mizerak has a good break, too.
Yes, he does. But I think Harriman puts more velocity into the break. Look at the position of the cue ball after contacting the 1-ball. Boom, stopping it directly dead center table.
Well, I've got a pretty good view on the monitor, and he appears to be snookered behind the 8-ball. But even if he is, he could take a one-rail kick and leave the cue ball behind the 4-6. But you're right, he stopped it directly in the middle of the table.
And if someone was to make odds on this particular match, it would probably be a toss-up.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that assessment.
They're relatively unknown Harriman, and compared to Mizerak, that is
well, he's becoming better.
Nonetheless, effectively, believe me, he's a strong player. He certainly has left his mark on the Pro Tour. I believe he finished 3rd in the Valley Forge tournament last year. A very, very strong field. And this is another very, very strong field as it usually is. 100 players gathered here to play in the U.S. Open.
We're in Chesapeake, Virginia, if it matters.
I don't know if he can get deeply enough behind the 1 to try to execute that shot you described.
I think he's got plenty of room for that. Well, he caught the outside of the 1. He's going to get away with this, maybe. I think Steve has a keyhole between the 4 and 6 ball. He can see part of that 1-ball for sure.
I don't believe he can see the right-hand side of the 1-ball to pocket it. I think he's going to have to play some sort of a safety here.
If he has a full ball hit, he can leave the 2-ball behind the 4. But I thought he had room.
Oh, well, obviously he did have room.
And the 4 goes in the side pocket, so he's off and running in the ever-critical first game.
Well, position for the 4 on the side is something that I don't feel he'll try.
I didn't see the 2-ball on the end rail.
Oh, yeah, okay. 2-ball is the ball he'll be shooting. The 4-ball, the key ball in this particular layout. Once that's gone, the rest of the balls spread very nicely on the table for Mizerak.
He has to be careful of the 8-ball here. He'd like to spin back above the 8, but not so far as to preclude an easy cut on the 5-ball. Well, he decided to go underneath the 8. That's okay, too.
Narrowly missing the 8. Had he brushed the 8 there, he may have found himself behind it.
True.
But that's not what happened. He's in reasonable line now.
Well, I wouldn't like this angle.
Little tentative, I think, on that particular stroke. I thought perhaps he should have drawn the ball a little closer to the side pocket, coming off in an angle that would give him a much straighter shot on the 6. Now he's got on the 50-yard line here. He's going to have to use the side cushion first, then the bottom cushion. He's going to have to really pound this ball to get it back up table for the 7. And he's played himself out of line on the 6 and have costing him, but really he didn't suffer much of a consequence, because notice the 9 ball in between the cue ball and the 6 ball. When you miss a ball, that's kind of fortunate to have something like that happen. Harriman can go rail first and kick the 6 into the corner pocket. This is a shot that Grady Mathews executes extremely well. He uses a system on this shot. They call it the mirror system.
And it's pretty accurate, and these rails are... Oh, the ball comes very truly off the rail. Oh, he missed the whole ball.
Well, Mizerak, back at the table after missing the 6 ball, should consider himself very fortunate. And as you know as well as anyone, Grady, it's very important to get the early lead in matches. Especially
that it is. It sets the tone for the whole match sometimes.
Mizerak positioning the cue ball very nicely for the 7. Cross table now for the 8 ball on the side. He would like to get a straight in angle on the 8, but he's fallen short of that mark. Now he's going to have to work the cue ball a little bit. Possibly.
Low left English, right?
He's spinning 2 cushions around the 9 possibly. If he hits,
he's going to come up in the middle of the table, 1 rail, I think.
He had a much thinner angle on the 8 than I thought that he had.
At any rate, it's going to be 1-0 advantage Steve Mizerak.
There's quite a bit of luck at 9 ball, isn't it, Grady? I mean, Mizerak playing himself out of line on the 6 ball, and then eventually missing the 6 ball, and you see hooking Harriman on the 6, and he gets back to the table, wins the first game. How much luck is there actually in this game of 9 ball?
Oh, I don't know. That would just be the hazarding of a guess, but it's pretty high. I think at least 25% of the whole game is luck. That's just my opinion. Maybe a little more.
I think it's a good game, though. I think that in every game we play, there has to be luck, because it puts more adversity into the game, and those people who deal with adversity better than the others usually are the ones that do the best. And I think 9 ball is a great game because it has a lot of skill. It takes a lot of skill to play the game, and also there is a certain amount of luck in it, which makes it even a better game.
Well, I can't argue with that. I could, but I've been doing it for too many years to want to continue on.
Right, and it's been a losing battle.
Right, so I'll just join the procession and say it's a wonderful discipline.
Mizerak coming up dry on the break. Once again, Harriman steps to the table, and once again without a shot. But at least this time he has an option to push. And where should he push? I don't know.
Well, I would push down to the end rail for a side rail kick at the 1 ball if I had it.
By the nameplate, then, by the Brunswick nameplate.
Right.
By the 2 pieces of chalk on the head end of the table.
Well, I wouldn't want to be that far to the right. I'd want to be right about where the plate is, right behind the 5 ball. Because Steve Mizerak is a great safety player. If he lets Steve see this 1 ball, he's either going to have a shot or a great safety.
He can't leave him above the 1. He'll be able to then to position the cue ball behind the 8, possibly.
Yeah, he's got 1,000,000 balls to put the cue ball behind. And if he puts him at the other end, he has a shot.
So therefore, the best he can do then is to push out for a kick, or he can challenge him by pushing out to a long, straight-in shot as close to the bottom cushion as possible. That's a real risky push, though, but it has its rewards. You know, I think when you're playing a player that's in his 50s or nearing his 50s, you should push out for long shots, because that's the type of a shot that, you know, players like that really don't want to shoot.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
And Harriman definitely wants a shot. He wants, you know, he's a very offensive player, and he wants a shot. So therefore, why play this kicking game or the safety game with Mizerak? I think I'd challenge him if I was Harriman.
I think that would be very astute. Now the question is Steve Mizerak going to take this?
Oh, I venture to say that Steve would pass this shot, considering how far the one ball is off of that cushion.
Right.
You know,
right.
I would pass this shot myself.
Well, if he hits the bottom side of the one as he comes off the rail with the cue ball, he has an excellent chance to get safe. The cue ball should go roughly into the 5 ball. And he's got a lot of places on the table to leave just like that. He hit it a little thinner than he would have liked. But now, for sure, he should end up behind the 8 and the 6.
No, this isn't an easy shot. This is a pretty touchy shot. You have to hit the fullness of the one ball here. And a kiss may be available there, you know, if you hit it just a little bit bad, but not this time. Mizerak executes that particular shot perfectly, leaving Harriman behind the 8.
Well, that was a good point you raised, Billy. I think he would have been better advised to push out for the long, hard shot, tempting Mizerak to take it.
Yeah, if you push out for the kick, he's going to probably pass it back to you. And, you know, you're going to have to hit that kick awfully good. He didn't hit it bad either, by the way. He hit it pretty good, but not good enough. Now he finds himself behind the 8. Especially in the early stages of a match where the players aren't in stroke, they don't have a feel for the table and feel for pocketing balls. That's when you want to challenge him with a long offensive shot. Say, here, either it's you or me here, take this shot. He probably would have taken the shot, but who knows, he may not have made it.
Well, I would go one rail here, just a medium speed. Either side of the one that he happens to hit, he'll have an excellent chance to get safe. The 6 already doesn't go by the 8. No reason to try anything cute there.
Don Mackey, the commissioner, just stepped into the booth, and now he's walking away.
Was that a conspiratorial wink that he gave you as he passed?
Get yourself in a chair. Put it right here. Any chair will fit right here. There, right here.
Okay, it's a ball in hand for Steve
again.
Mizerak. Now the problem ball here, Bill, is the 6 ball. And the way I see this rack, the 4 ball would be the best ball to break out the 6 with.
Well, I'm having a problem seeing this rack because there's a VIP in the front row here that's obstructing my view, but I'm going to have to deal with it because he paid for his seat and I didn't. So, okay, now the 6 ball is the problem ball, parked in between the 4 and the 8.
Well, all he has to do is get roughly straight in on the 3 ball, and he'll have a nice angle to make the 4 in the side, and either draw the cue ball into the 6, which I don't like as well as going to the rail and then into the 6. Or he could try to play position from the 5 to the 6. What's tough about that is that there aren't many pockets the 6 will go in.
Well, I believe we're going to find him playing position from the 5 to the 6 because you know as well as I do, none of the top players really like to go into balls unless they absolutely have to. So therefore, he's going to try to position the cue ball somewhere in center table, giving himself a nice angle off the 5 to drop nicely either behind the 6 or even maybe into the 6.
Well, I would like that except for the 7 ball. The 7 ball kind of to be in the way of things. Of course, he got a nice angle here.
Now he'll just pocket the 5 ball, come off the side cushion, and then go toward the 6 ball. If he bypasses the 6 ball, he'll have a shot in either the upper left-hand corner or even possibly the upper right-hand corner. Well, apparently the 6 ball goes past the 8, but in the meantime, he may have gotten a little lucky there.
The 6 must pass it. Boy, it looks like he can't make that, but maybe he can spin it around using right English. Just below center ball.
There was a spectator that walked by just as he was stroking the shot, and it sort of like distracted Mizerak, and That's probably the reason why he missed that ball, because as soon as he missed it, he looked at the spectator that was walking by and more or less said to himself, why did you have to walk by just at that time?
Well, there's always flurries of movement about the room. I don't really think that's why he missed the ball, but he may be like I am. I need a convenient excuse if I miss one. I mean, it's never because I've raised up or hit it poorly. There's always a reason for it.
Well, this will be the first opportunity Harriman will have at the table shooting an offensive shot. And if we remember, every time he's been at the table, he's either had a kick or played some sort of a safety. So therefore, this is our first opportunity to watch him shooting the offensive shots on the table. Let's take a look at this layout here. Looks like he's got a little awkward on the 7. He'd probably fare best if he just drew the ball back and just took a little tougher shot. No, I totally disagree with this. That time it worked out all right. But,
you know what that reminds me of? That time you made that great call with Bobby Leggs. Bobby Leggs had 4 balls left to win the match, nothing tied up, and you said, if I had to pick a player to try to draw the ball 4 rails with inside English and mess this rack up, it would be Bobby Leggs, and that's what he did. He jumped the cue ball off the table. But of course, Harriman is a real solid player. But I agree with you, that no reason for that.
Yeah, but I didn't particularly care for his judgment in shooting the 8 in the fashion that he did. You know, there was no reason to do that. But nevertheless, he put it down. He's at the table shooting the 9, and it looks like he's going to tie up the match.
Of course, on the other hand, Billy, the way he shot it, he didn't try to curve that cue ball much. He made sure he made that 7 ball.
But who am I to say how well he executes that type of a shot? He may practice that shot a lot. There's a lot of players that practice certain shots that are very difficult to most players, but they may come easier to certain players.
That's true.
You know, so if it happens again, he shoots it again, and if he has success again, then maybe that's just one of his shots in his arsenal that he's developed. Such as the jump shot, which when Earl Strickland first came on the scene, he was the only one jumping balls, and everyone said, well, he's going to get broke if he continues to jump balls. No one can get away with that. In the meantime, he changed the whole game of 9-ball. Everyone's jumping now.
That's true. With great success, I might add. Well, we're going to get another view of the patented Harriman break.
The last time he broke the balls, he parked the cue ball squarely in the center of the table. It was really a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, he got a kiss, which kind of stopped him from having a good shot.
So therefore, that was a textbook break. Let's see if he can do it again. So far, it looks like Harriman is the smoothest of the 2 players out there right now. Even though the score is tied up at 1 game apiece, Harriman seems to be playing quite well. Breaking the balls very nicely. Has a lot of confidence. You know, when you come from behind like he did last night against Jeff Carter, facing such a deficit like he did, and come from behind, it pumps you up for your future matches.
Oh, sure.
Look at the cue ball. Once again, very little movement after contacting the 1.
This time he failed to pocket a ball, though.
Notice where the balls went, though. All down table, which is an indication how strongly he hit the balls. Nothing around the foot spot. Look at the 7 and 9 underneath the foot spot. I don't know how well they sit in relation to one another. If
they look like they're dead. Now, Steve, what's he going to do here? Oh, that's he got position on the 2 ball, but in so doing, kind of tied up the 3.
But he has a beautiful shot here. Notice that the 5 and the 8 are kind of like tied up too. He'll shoot the 2 ball down tail, sending the cue ball possibly into the 5. He'll loosen that up and play a safety at the same time.
Well, I'd draw it back to the end rail here. I wouldn't go into the 5.
Yeah, he loosened the 5
Oh, you mean
up.
play the safety
Sure.
here? Okay.
See, that way he accomplishes 2 things. He breaks the 5 away from the 8. He hooks him behind the 8.
Yeah, but he's still got problems, even if he gets the ball in hand here. See, the way I would have played it, I would have drawn the cue ball to the end rail, played safe on a 3 ball, and broke up the 5-8. Then you can run out. If he gets a ball in hand here, if I were a betting man, which obviously I'm not, I'd be inclined to bet that he's not out. Now, that was nicely stated, was it not?
It certainly was, but he couldn't pocket the 2. If he could have pocketed the 2, then that would have been a better, pattern to choose.
I was looking straight away at it. It looked to me like he was straight in on it. That's a nice hit, by the way.
Now, he's left Mizerak a combination on the 2-6, and it's not really as easy as it appears because the cue ball is snugly positioned against the side cushion.
And the scratch loom's big in the picture.
Exactly. It looks like he's on the angle that suggests that there might be a possible scratch there.
So he either has to roll it or elevate the cue or play a nice safety.
And it was a very difficult situation he was confronted with. He didn't do very well with it.
He left him an angle to go. What I like to do here is to go to the end rail and then try to split the 3 and 4. Unless he's got enough room to bank the 3. But this is lying natural, low right English. And I wouldn't hit it very hard, thinking to myself, well, I can play a nice safety if I happen to not get a shot at the 3 ball.
You brought up a good point there when you said I would go into the 3 and 4 unless he has the angle where he can bank the 3. I believe if the 3 was bankable, that would be a better shot, because when you go into these 2 balls, there's no guarantee you're going to come away with a shot.
Right, and the bank you can get on 100% of the time.
Exactly, but I don't believe that the bank is available, so I look for him to go into both the 4 and the 3.
Right.
He's going to probably try to go into the 4. That's the ball to go into.
Well, I like splitting them like that.
Yeah, well, he'd go into the 4 and
well,
hitting the high side of the 4.
But when you try to hit the high side of it, you risk missing them altogether. Then you really do have problems. This way, he's assured of being able to see it.
Now, what he can do here is he can actually hit the left side of the 3 ball, spinning the cue ball 3 cushions around table.
Well, he's not going to play safe here. He's going to bank the 3. I believe he's looking at that.
Well, the 4 ball doesn't go. He probably doesn't have an angle to do anything with it. So if he has the awkward angle, he'd probably fare better if he played a safety here.
Well, he doesn't like. He's looking to see if he's going to scratch going 3 rails.
He's looking at the shot I described by very thinly hitting the 3 on the left-hand side. It's like a 3 cushion shot. Sending the 2 balls 3 cushions around the table. The 3 ball really won't have much movement after contact, so therefore, you don't have to worry about running the risk of selling out the 3. He's close to the 3. He should be able to execute the shot well.
Look what he did. Now, he tried to get behind the 7 and 9.
Well, that's perfect execution there. I mean, that shot there is probably as good a shot as we'll see in this match.
I agree. Now, I like going 4 rails here, Billy. 2 rails, the 8 kind of blocks things. Plus, you might break up the 4 and 5. But 4 rails, he's got a chance to get safe and an excellent chance to hit the 3 ball.
Yeah, I think his chances of hitting the 3 ball are better shooting at 4 rails. He's going 2 rails into the 3. Perfectly executed once again by Mizerak. Leaving Harriman a shot on the 3. I think he has enough room to shoot the 3 past the 6 in the side.
Well, if so, I'll tell you what I would do. I'd come 1 rail back down and play a safety on the 4 ball. He has no natural route to go into these balls.
But an offensive player like Harriman probably saying to himself, I'll apply right-hand English to this shot after hitting the bottom cushion, spinning 2 cushions toward the bottom cushion on the other side of the table, then into the 4. I mean, that's an offensive-minded shot.
Well, he's not going to do that.
Well, you never know what he's going to do, I mean, you didn't think he was going to mass that 1 shot when he could play position off of that 6 ball for the 8. Let's find out.
True.
He's a young player, He's a gutsy player, too.
Well, he is all of those things. I just believe the right shot here is to make the 3 and try to get up beyond the 4 ball and just play a nice safety.
That's the shot that an experienced player would shoot.
He's got another option if he has a full pocket. But see, I don't believe he's got a full pocket. He could go 3 rails. Now, see, he tried to go into him. And he's not going to get away with this either because Steve has an angle, except for the fact that the 7 ball kind of blocks his bridge to go to the side rail and maybe into the 4-5, or he has a perfect angle to make the 3 and then play safe on the 4.
Yeah, Steve's just going to pocket the 3, roll. No, he's going to go into the balls here, and he didn't accomplish what he set out to do, and it's going to end up costing him. How much, I don't know, but we're going to find out very shortly.
Now he'll kick this easy, trying to cut the 4 a little to his right and maybe leave the cue ball behind the 5. Or he could play an umbrella shot, 2 rails, the 4. Did he hit the 4? I couldn't see there.
I don't know if he hit the 4 or not, but he mentioned something to Harriman as he was walking to his chair. the gentleman that he is, he said to Harriman, "I didn't hit the 4. You have ball in hand." Harriman delighted to hear that, so he takes the ball.
I'd love to see our sport get to the point, Bill, where the players call fouls on themselves properly and honorably, like the golfers do. You shouldn't ever have to watch your opponent.
Well, there's a few problems out there. One being the 7 and the 9. That's tied up. The 8.
Well, the 7 goes now, though.
The 8's lying very close to the side pocket on the cushion.
That's the problem from the 7 to the 8. But the 7 ball goes, so that's not a problem. He's looking at it as he passes by.
Now, from my vantage point, I don't know how the 7 lies in relation to the 9, if that combination's available or not.
I don't think so. It looks like it goes into the end rail. Now, see, I would want to stay below the 7 here. You sure don't want to have to go into the 9 ball. So he'll want to come up, 8 or 10 inches. No more than that. And then he'll have an option to go into the 8 or draw above it. And I see on the monitor it's a good 5 or 6 inches away from the side. I don't think I'd risk going into them here. It's got a perfect angle to simply draw above it, and I sure wouldn't want to shoot it up the long rail.
No, if anything, you don't want to shoot it up the upper right-hand corner. You either want to play position for the lower right-hand corner. If you can't do that, then you're better off going into the 8. Playing position for the upper right-hand corner, you run the risk of hitting the point of the side pocket. A lot of things like that happen when,
Sure.
You know,
that's a tough shot.
No, he's now that's an awful difficult shot to shoot. Now he's going to have to worry about shooting the 8 ball past the point of the side pocket. Quite often you see that point just sticking out there when it's not even there.
Even when you hit the ball perfectly, it'll do that sometimes.
That's right. It happens to me quite often, probably more than it should. And I know it happens to you just about all the time. Is that true?
I've had my problems with this shot, I'll admit. I try to avoid it like the plague. But that's probably due to my subpar playing ability.
He cut the 8 away from the rail, assuring himself naturally that the 8 wouldn't hit the point of the side pocket. And
well, you know what impresses me there is the speed with which he struck that difficult shot. That was a perfect speed, lending itself to accuracy, and of course he was able to get away with a little bit of a bad hit.
Well, he's going to take a 2-1 lead in the match, it looks like, and he does. After game number 3, it's Harriman 2, Mizerak 1. Harriman, at this stage of the match, looking probably the more comfortable of the two players out there.
Well, Steve surprised me going into those balls, because if you remember how the 4-5 laid, with the cue ball coming off the end rail, there wasn't much of a way that he could end up with a shot on the 4. If he hits the 4 first when he comes off the rail, he could be snookered. If he hits the 5 first, no shot on the 4. Or he could snooker himself, which is in fact what happened.
Well, you know, the mindset of today's 9-ball players is exactly that. They want to run out. They want to run out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Don't ask me to describe the mindset of the modern-day 9-ball player. We'll never get out of this booth. Just kidding.
Well, anyways, that's probably the reason why Mizerak opted to try to go into the 4 and the 5, shooting the 3 in the side. Had he elected to go ahead and shoot the 3 in the side and play safe off the 4, he probably would have been at the table breaking the balls, but that's not what happened.
Well, I think you're right. Another way of phrasing it is that you have to be a little bit aggressive to play with the world's best 9-ball players.
And I really don't find fault in his judgment at the table by trying to do what he didn't do, but I don't really find fault in it because I've seen him do stuff like that consistently.
Well, part of my job here, though, is to pick out the cowardly thing to do most of the time.
Well, that should be easy for you to do, then.
Very easy. He didn't contact the 1 solidly there.
No, that was one of the few times that I've seen him break the balls where he didn't contact the 1 solidly. An indication of that is how the cue ball bounced up in the air and just flew to the side cushion.
Now, for Steve Mizerak, Billy, this is 2 games in a row that Danny Harriman failed to make a ball on the break, and that's pretty rare.
Now, he has to be careful because the scratch cross corner is available here. So he has to watch the cue ball, and not only that, the 7's also an interfering ball. He's gotten himself a reasonable line for the 2. The 3 ball near the head string on the opposite side of the table.
He was pretty straight.
He only got a little relief from the center of the table. Now he has to come with a shot. This is a come shot. This is probably the most crucial shot in this rack. If he puts this 3-ball down, which he's done, then the rest of the rack should play much more simple. He's got himself an ideal angle on the 4. All I need to do now is draw it straight back, or force it to the side cushion and the down table toward the 5. 6-ball position nicely in front of the side pocket, 7 cross table. This is a type of a layout you'd probably like to have.
Yes, it is. And I'd want to be sure to get here far enough where I didn't have to mess with that 8-ball too. And he's done that. And we'll also take note of the fact that he'll stay well away from the side pocket. No reason to risk scratching. The middle of the table is just fine. And here, the 8-ball in the side pocket will be the position play. He'll just want to get over around the area of the spot. Very nicely done. And the big guy still plays position perhaps like nobody before or since.
Yeah, his problems have never been playing position. His recent problems have been pocketing the long, difficult shot. But once he's in line, he usually stays in line.
That he does. And we're going to be knotted up 2 games apiece.
As game number 4 goes to Mizerak, this match is once again knotted up, now with the score being 2 games for Mizerak, 2 games for Harriman. And on the adjacent table, in a match between C.J. Wiley and Howard Vickery, it's C.J. Wiley at the table leading in that match 5 games to 3.
And Reed Pierce leading Rodney Morris 3 games to 2. Varner's engaged in a tough contest there.
Well, that figured to have been a real sharply contested match between Davenport and Varner. Both of those players are playing extremely well. Last night, Davenport was facing a 9-1 deficit, clawed his way back into the match, and eventually won the match, I believe, by the score of 11-10. So he's really pumped up, and he needs to be to defeat Nick Varner, because Varner played an excellent match yesterday.
Well, here's a tough shot. It's possible to kill the ball, the cue ball that is, but in doing so, you can't control the 1. The shot has to be struck too hard to keep the 1 at the same end of the table, or at the far, keep it at the far end. Let's see how he, oh boy, he sure hit that well.
He hit it well, but he didn't hit it well enough, but he did strike that shot well.
He meant to cut it a little more, which would have made the cue ball go a little farther, and the 1 be more to the right-hand part of the table as we view it on the monitor.
Now, considering the position of the 2, actually inside the lower right-hand corner pocket, you or I would probably roll the 1 in. And I don't look for Danny Harriman to do that. I look for him to elevate here, because he doesn't have any fear of distance.
Well, that's what he's going to do. The cue ball's a good 4 inches off the rail, too. Center ball, maybe a touch of left English. Just try to bounce it out off the rail.
See how hard he hit that shot? I would have never hit that particular type of a shot that hard. You can diminish the accuracy when you hit it at the speed that he hit it with. I would have rolled.
Well, I give you a lot of credit. You beat me to the punch handily in picking out the cowardly thing to do.
Well, that's because we do have similar styles at this age in life.
Yeah. Well, the 2 is in a very fortuitous position for obtaining the easy position on a 3-ball. In fact, the 9's even there to stop the forward progress of the cue ball. Now he can just pull this back, 2 or 3 inches, or he can go to the end rail and up, which I think is the right play. Very nicely done. Now he'll just lay the cue ball on the end rail here. And that kind of inverted angle for this type of position is absolutely the best way to play it. He can do anything he wants it now.
Right, but he really didn't want to lay it on the end rail, because by laying it on the end rail, then he would have had too much of an angle coming off the 4. This is ideal. He'll be able to then go above the 8. Very nicely done. He's in perfect line. This is a
Well, I didn't mean freeze it on the end rail.
Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir.
And thanks to you, by the way, for being here during this tournament. You know, I've missed you the last few tournaments, and I need you in my life to illustrate every day the wrong way to set about doing things, and it kind of inspires me.
Makes your job a lot easier.
Makes it much easier. Yeah. That hand for Howard Vickery, who's clawed back into that match. He trails C.J. Wiley 4 games to 5.
Mizerak, one of the most beautiful players in the world to watch at the table.
I used to love to watch him play straight pool. He, how many times he won the world title? 6 or 7? And he wants to stay down and be smooth, follow through. Nicely done. 3-2 Mizerak.
A little bit of a jump after striking the 9 ball, but it was after striking the 9 ball that he jumped. So therefore, it's okay to jump after you strike the cue ball, but it's really real bad to jump before you strike the cue ball. Mizerak winning game number 5, now leads in the match by the score 3-2.
Well, there's an unknown player here, Charlie Williams. I've never seen him before this tournament. He's leading Mike Massey 4-1, and he's at the table.
There's a lot of unknown players around the country today because, you know, both you and I are up in age, and we really don't get around the country that often.
Now this time Steve failed to pocket the ball on the break. But Danny Harriman's going to have to roll out. He's snookered solidly behind the 4 ball.
Well, at least he has a lot of options available to him now. There's a lot of positions on the table where he can roll out to. Unlike the last time when he was confronted with a very difficult situation, he had to roll out to where he had a kick after 1 ball. Naturally, Mizerak passing the shot back to Harriman. Harriman kicking at it successfully, but ended up finding himself behind the 8 after Mizerak shot the subsequent shot. But where would you roll here?
Well, I might go all the way to the far end rail here. Or he might tempt him again with the long hard shot, since the 5, at least in part, blocks the 2 ball going in the left-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, well,
this is another place he could take advantage of that youthful shot-making ability.
But the position of the 1 ball, it's just lying on the table in a very, very good position. It could be hit roughly and still you can pocket the 1 ball. No, he's done exactly what you suggested.
Yeah, but I don't think he rolled far enough to shoot it straight in. Which means he's going to have to go rail first.
This shot really doesn't play that tough, rail first, because he's in an ideal.
Well, it plays tough because of the lie of the 4 ball. The cue ball will probably be behind the 3 and 4. He won't be able to see the 2 ball, even if he goes rail first and makes the 1.
I don't think he'll get that much movement from the cue ball if he's able to pocket the 1 ball rail first. I think if he hits it with a soft speed, going rail first.
Well, he can't shoot this at speed where he's going to sell out 100% of the time if he doesn't make it, can he?
I would shoot it at the speed. If I make it, I'm going to win.
He's probably going to hit this a medium. Oh, he could make it straight in.
He could make it straight. I was surprised Mizerak passed the shot. You know, I was really surprised to see Mizerak pass the shot back to Harriman.
Well, he did the smart thing. Even though it didn't work out, he's going to be snookered here. Hitting it the way Danny did, it lowers the make percentage incredibly. Why would Mizerak roll 1 in that's a hard shot to obtain another hard shot? That's 3-1 against him. Well, here he has a chance to make the 7 ball if he can hit the high side of the 1. Oh, he didn't hit it hard enough to make it. I think I might have hit that hard enough to give myself some options or opportunity.
I do believe the option is available for Harriman to try to reposition the cue ball down table somewhere near the Brunswick nameplate, possibly even in back of the 6.
Well, I would make sure not to hit the 1 hard enough to leave a billiard on the 7 or the 9.
I don't believe he has any other choice other than to leave the cue ball down the far end of the table. This shot, it's essential for him to have good cue ball speed right here. Oh, that was a very creative shot.
That was a good shot. However, Steve's got a good shot. He should try to hit the bottom side of the 1 ball, and in that fashion he has a chance to perhaps pocket the 4 ball in the side pocket or end up with a safety. Little nice medium speed. Nearly caught it a little thickly. And I think we're going to see a 1-9 combination. Let's see if Danny has the experience to check and see if the 9 is easier made off the 7 ball. I'm sure he probably has that knowledge. He's looking at that. Or he may be looking at straight away playing the combination. A lot of times a shot like this is easier made playing the 9 off the 7.
Yeah, because you can hit a number of different areas on the 9 to pocket it off the 7. But if you choose to pocket the 1, 9 without touching the 7, then you have to be a little more precise with your hit.
And anytime you have this kind of degree of cut on a combination, it becomes pretty difficult.
Scores right now 3 games for Mizerak, 2 for Harriman.
Vickery and Wiley knotted up 5 games apiece.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done. And we're tied up 3 games apiece here.
Notice the position of the cue ball. Had he missed the 9 ball, the cue ball would then have been up table behind the 3, leaving Mizerak no shot on the 1.
Well, we've talked about that many times in the past. One of the first things you learn to play 9 ball at the championship level is that there's nothing in the rules says you have to give your opponent a good shot when you leave the table.
So that's a little extra percentage that he had going for him in the event that he would have missed the 9 ball combination. He had that little extra percentage in the positioning the cue ball up the other end of the table, not allowing Mizerak a shot. Game 6 goes to Harriman. He knots up the match at 3 games apiece. Once again, Harriman at the table. Now he's checking the rack this time. He didn't particularly care for the way the balls opened up.
Well, the last 2 times he did not pocket a ball on the break. I kind of like having the referees here, though. Each player has the opportunity to begin with the same opening shot, which lends itself to professionalism and equality. Parity also, if you will.
Well, he put a lot of velocity into that break, pocketing 3 balls on the break, but unfortunately he didn't come up with a shot. Pocketing the 1, 2, and the 7. The 3 ball will be the ball he'll need to shoot. He's behind the 5. The 8 and the 9 are tied up near the foot spot, slightly to the right of the foot spot.
This is a tough rollout, too. Where do you go?
Push out.
I don't know what he's looking at here. He's going to hit the 8 ball.
Oh, that was foolish. He not only did he break the 8 away from the 9, he gave Mizerak relief because now he can bridge without the 9 or the 8 hampering his bridge hand or even diminishing the sight of the shot.
You and I go to great lengths to have nothing but nice things to say about people, and I do not mean this in a disparaging fashion, but that's the worst rollout I ever saw. And I've made some bad ones, but he did everything wrong there.
I think he's put too much emphasis in challenging Mizerak.
Well, what did he have to gain if he left the cue ball right over the 9, which I assume is what he tried to do?
Exactly. He wanted to challenge Mizerak and say, go ahead, it's either you or me. You shoot the shot, see what you can do with it. In the meantime, Mizerak failed to pocket the 5. Very uncharacteristic of Mizerak, especially after he got himself in a reasonably good line. I thought perhaps this rack should have been fairly easy.
Well, he kind of lagged that ball, too. Now, Danny, if he can't shoot right at the 5 ball, has enough room to just twirl the cue ball a little bit and hit it, but he might be better advised to go to the end rail and play some kind of safety or something. He might be able to shoot straight at this ball. Or if he needs to twirl it a little bit, he could use left English. Or maybe he can see it and he's worried about where the cue ball is going, because it's not natural here to get position on the 6. And I don't think I would want to come into the 6 ball either. The problem is you have to go 3 rails to go underneath it, and that's very difficult. 1, 2, 3. Oh, did he make that look easy?
Well, he hit it beautifully, and not only did he pocket the 5, he positioned the cue ball ideally for the 6, the 8 ball near the right-hand side.
And as
the position
usual,
on the 6 suggests that all he needs to do now is just follow it up table, and he'll have a nice shot in the end.
as usual, my old friend, if the correctness of my predictions becomes just too much for you to bear, just let me know and I'll leave the booth for a few moments.
No, it's always a pleasure to do commentary with you, Grady, because to sit next to a person as knowledgeable as you is certainly a treat.
Well, I'm just kidding you. You are too. I learn things from you all the time. Nothing special here, just pretty much stop the cue ball. Boy, that was a nice smooth stroke, wasn't it? That's very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's another thing to be able to execute it. Apparently, the man at the table, Harriman, had both at that time. After game number 7 is Harriman 4, Mizerak 3. Mizerak had a good opportunity that round, Grady, blundering on the 5. It still seems to me that Harriman probably is the smoothest of the two. He's playing well. You know, he made a foolish push out, but of course that's just inexperience. That's just
youthful exuberance, perhaps.
A poor judgment on his part there. But in terms of execution, I think that he's doing just fine.
Yeah, let's see if he can get the breakdown. He really has not broken the balls well this match.
I disagree. I think he's been breaking the balls extremely well. He pocketed 3 balls on his last break. And once again, I see very quickly 2 balls disappear. And once again, he finds himself behind the ball. I don't believe he can see the 1.
Well, if he can go 3 rails and plan to play position for the 2 ball in the far right-hand side pocket. If not, one supposes he'll have to push out again. Well, he can see this ball, or he wouldn't be approaching the table from that angle. He wants to go 3 rails and be careful not to scratch. Low, left English.
And if he happens to hit the 5 off the 3rd cushion, it's even okay to hit the outside of the 5. If he hits the outside of the 5, the cue ball will still go down table to the right of the 2.
Oh, he decided to play safe.
Decided to play safe. Something that I was surprised to see him do, as offensively as he's been.
Well, I don't think Steve can hit the whole 1 ball. If he could, he might have a nice safety to knock the 1 out of there, cue ball to the end rail, and into the 2 ball. High ball, just a little right English, just a slow medium speed. If not, he's going to have to thin this ball.
He's going to have to thin it because he can only see a small portion of the 1. And the only other option he has is to kick it, unless he can massay it around the 5 and hit the 1 ball thickly.
Boy, that's a tough shot. He played that old-time snooker shot. I try that shot all the time, Billy, and to be honest with you, unless the object ball's a couple of inches off the rail, I usually mess it up about like he just did.
The 9 ball is positioned about a 1/4 of an inch off the side cushion, which makes this combination very pocketable. So therefore, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for the 1-9 combination. The closeness of the 1 ball to the cue ball certainly helps this.
There is a way to miss this, so it's barely possible to hit rail first and the 9 thick enough to where it goes into the facing and doesn't quite go. For that reason, he wants to hit this about as easy as he can. I kind of like going rail first here, too, rather than 9 ball first. The 1, the side rail, and then the 9.
By going rail first, you have 2 ways of
Like
making
that.
it. Right. You have 2 ways of making it, and it actually enlarges the pocket. After game number 8, Harriman now has a 2-game advantage in the match, 5 games to 3.
Well, I tell you, he's made an impression on me with his fluidity, his smoothness, his tempo, his temperament, as a matter of fact. He seems to be unflappable, this young player from Springfield, Missouri. I met his folks, too. They're very nice people.
Danny Harriman is definitely a student of the game. He's a very quick learner also.
You know what I like about him, too, Billy? You know, sometimes the likes of you and me might not deserve respect that some of the old-time players get. But when he comes up and asks me something, he'll say, "Mr. Mathews, how are you today? Can you help me with this or that?" And I tell him, "Call me Grady." But he's like that. Nice kid.
Yes, he is.
The fact notwithstanding that he'll shoot our livers out if we happen to draw him in a 9-ball tournament.
Well, I won't have to worry about that.
No, because again, you fail to get your entry fee in.
And I'll continue to fail to get my entry fee in until the senior tour starts, which, by the way, Steve Mizerak is having a seniors tour. And
you mean that if I play in that, I can play all players like you?
Well, if you do that, then you won't really do well then. No, that'll be really exciting, I think.
Well, I don't mind admitting I get a little jealous. I read yesterday's paper, and 4 senior golfers are over the $1 million mark in earnings this year. That would be a refreshing change to go and play in a seniors event with all
non-breakers.
Yeah, non-breakers. Yeah, guys that break like DiLiberto, right? We kid Danny about that all the time. I love the guy. He's got the weakest 9-ball break I ever saw in my life. Okay, 5-3. And I know Steve Mizerak would like to have that 5-ball shot back. 5-4, Varner over Davenport as we speak. And Wiley and Vickery all tied up 6 games each. There, he got it exactly in the middle of the table.
Yes, he did.
And another inadvertent kiss is going to cause him to have to bank this 1 ball. But he's not going to be thinking safety here. He's going to shoot this.
Pocketing the 1-ball position is natural. Notice the position of the 2-ball near the upper left-hand corner, and also the position of the 4-ball conveniently placed near the right-hand corner pocket, upper right-hand corner pocket.
Well, the 1 is really kind of the game ball in this track, wouldn't you say?
I would think, yeah. From the 5 to the 6 may be a little bit of a problem.
I don't like drawing this any kind of way. I like playing a 2-rail billiard with the cue ball into the 6. It's almost like a just below center ball hit, little right English, medium speed. Oh, that was beautifully done. He was a little straighter away than I at first imagined.
Now, he would be advised to play position for the 5 in the lower left-hand corner. Notice the accessibility of the 6 playing the 5 in the lower left-hand corner. After cutting it into the lower left-hand corner, then he will go back up table after hitting the bottom cushion.
That's a great point, my friend. The 8 and 9 come into play if he gets on the other side of it, and that's what he's going to do.
Well, he miscued there, and now he's gotten himself straight on the 4. Had he positioned the cue ball, giving himself an angle on the 4, he would have probably fared much better playing position for the 5 in the lower left-hand corner, staying above the 5.
Well, if he's straight in, then he'll go rail first, with, of course, some right English, but he might have enough angle to punch it out. Well, he did that only because he had to. But again, what you suggested is coming into play. This is not an easy shot. He's going to have to draw this above the 8 and out beyond the 7. 1 rail with low right-hand English.
There's no reason to, by trying to cheat the pocket, he missed the ball. Now, really, I don't really find fault in what he did. He just tried to get out. Had he had the chance to play position for the 5 the right way, perhaps he may have gotten out, but he didn't have that chance because he miscued on the...
What a strange place to miscue, because he had a very easy shot. Normally you miscue on a difficult shot, or one that requires excessive English. Well, for Steve, I know he's delighted to receive that type of opportunity when it appeared that young Danny Harriman was out. Nicely done.
Well, that's a touchy little shot that he executed so nicely. That's the type of a shot that a lot of people, including myself, have problems with. Steve Mizerak executing that shot very nicely, finds himself in perfect line for the 8. Looks like he's going to narrow the gap to 1 game if he's able to put down the 8 and the 9 here.
Well, no particular problem. This game well in hand, and we're going to have a 5-4 tally after game number 9. Well, except for a couple of inadvertent miscues, this has been a rather well played match, I think, to this juncture.
And obviously a very close match, 5-4. Reed Pierce and Rodney Morris, 2 other fine players on the tour, are all knotted up at 5 games apiece. Reed Pierce ranked number 5. I don't really recall Morris's ranking, but I think it's pretty high up there, maybe number 8 or 9. Wiley ahead of Vickery, 7 games to 6. Varner stretching out now against Davenport, 6 games to 4. At one time in the match, he was trailing 4 games to 1.
No ball on the break for Steve Mizerak.
And no shot for Danny Harriman.
Now, unless he decides to go to the airways, which I don't think he'll do. There's too much 8-ball to get over here. Boy, I don't like this. If he man saves that and tries to play safety, that's very difficult. Again, he can challenge Steve here, perhaps.
Why not? Why don't he position the cue ball where the 5 is there, the lower left-hand corner?
Well, he can't do that, because if he does that, Steve will take the safety. It's an easy safety.
Where's the safety?
Behind the 9-8-6, you just knock the one rail back up around the area of the 5, and the cue ball over behind the 9-8-6.
Exactly, I didn't really see that. No wonder I never went playing 9-ball.
But I don't like this either. I kind of like pushing out by the first diamond, right about the first diamond by the lower right-hand corner.
Now look what he did. He positioned the cue ball behind the 6 and the 8, sending it 3 cushions. And it looks like he may have gotten away with it. And if there's any indication on how he feels by his body language, he certainly has gotten away with it.
Tell you what, that was a good shot. Can't take it away from me. Look at this. Well, I tell you what I like here. One rail, cut the one to the left as we view it on the monitor. The cue ball goes right up behind those 5 balls.
And it will definitely do that, and which will create a real good situation possibly for Harriman, because there's a lot of interfering balls on the right side of the table where the cue ball could work its way behind. The 3, the 7, the 2, 6, and the 8. So therefore, there's a lot of good things that can happen to Harriman if he kicks it in the fashion that Grady suggested. After hitting the bottom cushion, hit the right side of the 1 ball, not hard, softly, but not too soft.
Oh, nice medium speed, and you want to make a fairly thick hit on the 1. You don't want to cut it too much.
That's
Just like that.
exactly what he's tried, and once again, look at the perfect results that he's gotten with his
Well, I'm proud to say that that was on one of my tapes. He might have gotten that off my tape. I don't know if he did or not.
I don't understand why these people don't tip you when they see you after learning shots
Oh,
like
they
that.
do on
They
occasion. They do on occasion. But that's an easy shot, a 1-pocket style safety.
You know, it's not as difficult as it may appear, but first you have to know what's available, and that's where all the benefits come in by purchasing instructional tapes like the one.
Well, that
Grady has
wasn't a
out.
plug for my tapes. I don't even own the rights to any of them anymore, and that's a painful story, divorce related. Let's don't get into that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
I didn't know I got that deeply involved in it.
But again, aren't we both impressed with the way Danny Harriman, the ease with which he seems to be selecting the correct shot?
Well, like I said, you know, he's a student of the game, and you said there was a contrast in styles, and I thought when you said that you really didn't understand the real Danny Harriman, because
Well, I know
he's
him
a
pretty
very,
well.
very knowledgeable player when you consider his age.
Well, I know a lot of older players that wouldn't have seen that. Don't you?
Yeah, of course, you're right. But Harriman is a very, very experienced player, especially when you consider how young he is.
How old is he, by the
Certainly
way? I don't think
illustrated
we've
that in
mentioned.
this match.
Do you know how old he is?
I don't know offhand how old he is, but he looks like he's around 25 years old.
Center ball loaded up with writing. There's thin hit on the 1, and it's a virtual hanger.
Harriman leading now in the match by 2 games, 6 games to 4.
Well, as we've grown to expect at the U.S. Open, lots of close, exciting matches. Boy, C.J. Wiley's having a good year.
C.J. Wiley is a very good player.
No kidding.
Yes, he is, and one of the better shot makers in the world today. He's proven that time and time again, and is starting to round off his game, playing different games now.
He came in second at the straight pool tournament a couple of weeks ago in Maine. He's taken up one pocket, and I noticed a dramatic improvement in his safety game. Okay, 6-4, Harriman at the helm. I kind of like the way he sets his whole bridge hand on the table for the break shot. I might try that. Might be easier to get accuracy with the cue ball in that way.
That's kind of the way David Howard breaks the balls also, if you notice. He got good action off of the break, but he's come up dry. Suffering little consequences. I don't believe Mizerak has.
Maybe we can get a close-up of that 1-5-8. I believe the 1-5 combination is on. You see it there? The problem is you can't control a one ball. And I sure don't see a good safety. So I believe he's got too much cut on that 5 ball to control the 1. And if he has to cut the 1 to his left to make it, the cue ball has to go forward or into the 6. There's no way to handle the 1 ball and the cue ball. At any rate, we'll know in a moment. Certainly not an easy decision, or he would already be stroking the cue ball, or stroking at it.
Well, what he's pondering now is he's looking for a spot to put his position in the cue ball. He's thinking safety here. He is not thinking anything offensive. He's looking to position the cue ball possibly behind the 9 or the 7.
Well, there's no way to get the 1 out of there comfortably.
Well, if he can position the cue ball behind the 9 near the 7 here.
See, the 1 doesn't move at all.
And he'll accomplish what he set out to do, but he needs to go a little bit farther than he's gone. I don't know if he's gone far enough.
Well, there's not enough of that 9 ball in the way that Danny can't jump it anyway. If he's only got 1/4 of the 9 to go over, even though the 9 ball is a good 3.5 feet away, I think we'll see him jump it, but I believe he has a straight in shot almost on the 1.
Now, this is what really impresses me about Harriman's game, is his ability to draw the cue ball at great distances with ease. Now watch this draw stroke. When he mishit the 1 ball, had he hit the 1 ball squarely, we would have saw the cue ball come straight back, because he's done that with such consistency, and he's gotten such great results with that particular shot, and it really is a big shot to be able to execute as well as he does.
Well, you're correct there. What Billy said, ladies and gentlemen, was instead of hitting the 1 ball in the middle of the pocket, he cut it to his left slightly, which altered the path of the cue ball. But even so, from great range, he made sure that he could at least hit the 2 ball. Oh, he's got a lot of stuff to put that 2 ball behind, too. Going to put the cue ball right in the middle of the end rail.
Well, I don't know.
Just like so.
Well, that's okay. I thought a better shot would have been positioning the cue ball behind the 6.
Well, you might be right. Sure.
Positioning the cue ball behind the 6 makes it such a difficult hit.
Well, this is not a difficult hit. Now, getting the 2 ball safe, that's a different story. Well, maybe he has to go 1 rail. Tough to get this safe. Well, he might be a little fortunate here. He's going to get away with that.
He certainly did. And that's why I like positioning the cue ball behind the 6. If he was able to do that, and also positioning the 2 ball near the side, I don't see how Mizerak could have possibly hit the 2 then. The 7 and the 3 block off the angle from the bottom cushion toward the kick. The 6 and the 8 certainly precludes him going into the 2 that way. I don't see how he would have had a chance to hit it. But
well, it was an easy hit. He got a little lucky to get it safe.
Well, yeah, where Harriman pushed, he left him an easy hit. Even though he hooked him, he left him an easy hit. And sometimes, even though you're sure of hooking your opponent, maybe that's not good enough. In a lot of cases, that's not good enough when you can hook him where he can't possibly hit the ball, even though it carries a little more of a risk, but the reward's so much greater.
I think I would play the 3 up the long rail here. Oh, like that, but He missed the 2. He's going to get away with this again. Well, now he wants to go 2 rails and hit the outside of the 2 ball. It might go in off the 6. He's got a great chance to get safe. Oh, he's going to tie up the 3-7. I don't like this shot. I mean, if it were a difficult kick, perhaps, but I don't see any reason to do this.
Well, Mizerak can hook him behind the 6 again, positioning the 2 near the 3 and the 7. He should try to hook him again. No, that's exactly what he's going to do. So therefore, by tying up the 3 and the 7, he really didn't accomplish anything because Mizerak's going to reposition the 2 now to where he can. See, I would have shot the 2 in the direction of the 3 and 7, positioning the cue ball close to the 6.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, that way that his equity in loosening the 3 from the 7 is so much greater if he was given ball in hand.
Well, if he had ball in hand here, he couldn't even try to go into him.
Yeah, by positioning the 2 ball near the 3 and the 7, it's so much easier to deal with the problem.
C.J. Wiley wins 11 games to 6 over Howard.
He did at one time in the match and was tied up, I believe, by a score of 5 games apiece. Wiley's so explosive, though, winning the next 6 out of 7 games.
He's trying to perhaps make the 5 in the side, going 3 rails. I don't know what's going. So you can't get enough speed on this over the ball.
Shot. The cue ball's going to hop on. It's going long.
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
Okay, Mizerak was able to hook him and end up with cue ball in hand, but he positioned the 2 in a bad spot. Perhaps, just perhaps, a 2-9 combination's available. I don't know.
Well, the 9 goes. I would sure take the extra edge and put the cue ball behind the 5 in case I didn't make it. And he's done that. Very nice.
Yeah, it was just too convenient for him not to do that. It really didn't diminish the accuracy of the shot in any way because it was just too convenient. I mean, even if the 5 wasn't there, he probably would have positioned the cue ball for that combination in the identical spot.
6-5, Varner over Davenport at the moment. See if Steve can get the break working.
Mizerak, I think, has been very fortunate in this particular match after blundering a couple times at the table.
Yeah, he got saved twice in the last game.
Yeah,
he really did. And as a matter of fact, in the early game, you remember he got safe on the 6 ball, so he's gotten a couple of rolls in that way. But that is, as they say, part of the game. Now the 5 ball only goes in the lower right-hand corner. And the 4 to the 5, not easy here because he can't get an outside-in angle because the 6 ball's in the way. So he's going to have to try to get an angle either to follow down to the end rail and back up or get pretty straight in on the 4 ball.
yeah, he'll probably just try to force it slightly to his left a little bit with a center ball, not getting much movement from the cue ball like he's done. Now he's created the ideal angle off of the 4 to drop nicely for the 5. And with a strong stroke, which he definitely has, he shouldn't have much of a problem, but still he has to pocket the 4.
Well, can he get around the 9 ball?
Yeah, there's no problem getting around the 9. That'll suffice. He has no problem getting around the 9. He'll be able to hit this quite comfortably. He has no risk of going into the 9 here. 2 cushions around, coming up short of the mark for the 6, but of course he can still work with it. He can go 2 cushions,
or possibly 3 cushions.
Or possibly 3 cushions.
He's perfect here. Just make the 6.
Yeah, he was laying thinly enough on the 6 to go 3 cushions naturally. This match looks like it's going to be knotted up again, Grady.
What did he do here? Okay, he's all right. Looked like it was going to travel a bit too far. And we are, in fact, all tied up 6 games each.
Kim Davenport and Nick Varner in a very, very close match. Varner with a slim lead of 6 games to 5. Rodney Morris ahead of Reed Pierce with a score of also 6 games to 5.
You know, even though Steve made a ball on the break, I really didn't like the way he hit that last break shot. Did you? Had a little high English on the cue ball, which of course you don't want. He did not make a ball this time.
Now, once again, he's come up drying the grade, but once again, Harriman steps to the table without a shot. So the balls aren't really cooperating for Harriman.
Seen this before.
At least not at this juncture. But the balls seem to turn on you suddenly.
Yes, they do.
Happens often.
Like wives.
There's no loyalty when it comes to pool balls. Well, he can just stay right there because Mizerak isn't going to
He isn't even going to look at
to
it.
move. He says, "Go ahead, son. Take your best chance." There's I don't know even know why he pushed there. I mean,
I don't either.
That's a horrible place to push.
You can't even, you don't have the luxury of banking the 1 and the 2-8 because probably nothing's going to go there.
So what does he have in mind? This is going to be haphazard here. I don't know what he's going to do here. I have no idea what he's going to do. And he's left Mizerak a bank cross side, which is not all that bad considering what he did.
No, it's not bad at all from Harriman's perspective, but Steve can't take this. What's he going to do with the 2-8?
Well, the 2-8 is a makeable combination, I do believe.
I don't know. Well, maybe it is. Maybe the 8's closer to the pocket than I think.
Matter of fact, he can cut the 2 into the cushion and go rail first and make the 8, and then I believe he'll have position.
I think that's out a little far for that.
You think?
Yeah, maybe
You could
not.
be right. You could be right. You've been right before.
The billiard is on, but to get on the billiard
It's too tough
makes
to
the
get on the
1
billiard.
harder to make.
Yeah, you don't want to try to cheat the pocket on this shot because this is a shot that demands a lot of respect. So therefore, you got to try to put the 1 in the center of the pocket and take your chances with the combination.
Well, that's a smart shot.
But he's left the Harriman a shot.
No, I don't think he can make this, can he?
It's awfully close.
Well, he's looking at it. But
Sure. It really puzzled me what Harriman had in mind when he rolled in the position that he rolled into. But of course, that's water over the dam.
what do you suppose he was trying to do? Looked like he was trying to bank him into the 2-8.
I have no idea.
Well, I don't know here. This is tough. Gonna twirl it, elevating the cue. This is really hard. Well, you might as well. There's not much there anyway.
Overdid it. He over twirled it. But he's left Mizerak a very tough shot. If he even elects to shoot it. And of course, he really doesn't have much of an option.
I don't know about that. Well, see, he can't thin the 1. In other words, try to knock it behind the 4-9 because the 1 goes right into the 5. And I don't know that he's got room to get to the side rail. Well, what he could do is cut this ball easy. He's got the 4-5-3 to leave the cue ball behind. You see it there?
Yeah, but how much movement is he going to get from the 1?
Well, that's a nice shot he made there.
Right.
Beautiful shot. Well, Steve's a great safety player. He doesn't get the credit he deserves in that department. If there's a pretty high percentage safety available, you may rest assured he will avail himself of it. Well, I think he's got room to go between the 4 and 9. And I hate to re-stress an old issue, but he wants to hit the bottom side of the 1 here. Cue ball should come back behind the 4-9. If he hits it directly.
He might even make the 9 if he gets real lucky.
Sure. Well, I don't think he's going to hit it that hard. Well, no, that's a little hard luck to scratch straight in the pocket.
Yeah, if he gets unlucky, that'll happen. Notice the position of the 1 ball, how perfectly he executed that shot, but no reward. That's really an unlucky roll.
Well,
now that Mizerak has the luxury of playing position for the 2 to 8 billiard, but of course he wants to. It looks like he's trying to pocket the 1-7 combination, which is I don't believe I would do this. But of course, who am I to say?
I don't know. I can't find any fault with that.
And not since he's positioned both the cue ball and the 1 ball as nicely as he has. Now he has a better angle. The accessibility of the 2-8 billiard is much
but
better.
where he's at here, you can't control the cue ball. See, I think he might have to draw the cue ball a little bit. And there's no way to.
He has to.
There's no way you can control the 2 ball.
No, he has to hit it hard. And he has to draw it.
Play the 2 ball into the 9, maybe the bottom side of the 9. Oh, all right, he was all right.
Oh yeah, he was in fine shape. I didn't think he had that available.
I didn't either. Well, it was closer to the pocket as you at first supposed and opined. Now, does he have an angle to go out beyond the 9 and past the side pocket? This appears to be one of those angles that he might brush the 4 at the 9, and not the easiest of executions.
Well, that's
Beautifully
fine.
done. Beautifully
That's
done.
fine. What a nice touch.
Well, a great straight pool helps you, of course, with that kind of position.
Nice touch, and it's so difficult for a lot of people to roll a ball as softly as he just did. With accuracy.
I think he got a little bit of an angle on this 4 where perhaps he can go over to the rail and out. Oh, that's perfect. Now, Steve Mizerak has really smoothed out after kind of a shaky start, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, and
now, I would go 1 rail and plan on playing the 6 in the far left-hand corner.
I think he's too thin to do that. He can go twice across table.
Oh, okay, okay. And I don't know, this is a very missable shot.
Well, he can force this out of the upper left-hand corner, 2 cushions.
This shot would be easier for a right-handed player. Well, he made it look easy.
Well, he's fallen a little bit short of where he wanted to be.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy shot. While we're waiting here, I was at the breakfast table with my wife, and I said to her, if I were to die, would you remarry? And she said, sure. And I said, well, you mean that you have a man eating my food at my kitchen table and sleeping in my bed? She said, sure. And I said, well, what about my golf clubs? Surely not them. And she said, no, he's left-handed.
It's funny, Grady.
Painfully close to the truth, too. 7-6 is correct.
Nick Varner extending his lead over King Davenport by 3 games, 8 games to 5. Rodney Morris has also stretched out a little bit over Reed Pierce, 8 games to 5.
Well, this time he pocketed 2 balls on the break. And this time he's got a great safety. Perhaps the cue ball behind the 2 ball. And if he didn't want to do that, he could play the cue ball behind the 8-4. I kind of like the cue ball behind the 2 ball.
No, I don't like that at all. I don't even think that's a option. You have to play too precise. There's no future in that shot. He's going to probably try to position the cue ball behind the 8 in the 4. Or he's trying to cut the 1 in.
Boy, that was a difficult shot. Well, here, if he decides to play the one, the shot I like is going 3 rails. The end rail, the lower left-hand side rail, and then the other end rail. So in other words, you can hit it with just above center ball, a little bit of left English. I wouldn't try to use reverse English here, would you?
I don't know. You have a pretty good feel for the shot that you described. I don't really like to shoot that shot, especially at this distance, because I don't know, it's a tough shot. I like going to the inside here because I don't run the risk of scratching.
Oh, you have a safety most of the time if you don't make it anyway like that.
I like going to the inside here. I think it really increases the make on the shot because I'm more comfortable shooting it that way. I don't like going to the left long cushion. He's going to the inside also, but he's killing it. He's finessing it. See? And that way was a little more difficult to pocket the ball.
No, I would have done like what you're talking about if I wanted to use the inside 2 rails,
yeah, right?
Exactly. And just try to get in the middle of the table.
Right. See, he put too much English, therefore he had to be worried about deflection and then also masse by hitting it with that finesse stroke. It's a much more difficult shot considering the distance that he was away from the one and also the thinness of the one that he had to hit the one very thinly. So he created more of a problem for himself in electing to shoot that shot in the fashion that he did. Mizerak's back at the table with a 1-game lead and with a great opportunity, but not capitalizing on it.
Boy, that's a big game there. 8-6 or 7-7, perhaps. Gonna play it in the lower left-hand corner, maybe at just below center ball or just above center ball, touch of left English and kind of bounce the cue ball out 1 rail.
Any angle on the 4 will suffice there.
Maybe he's got an angle to follow forward almost straight ahead too, that's okay.
You just don't want to get straight in on the 4. Any angle will be good on the 4, but you don't want to get straight in.
Yeah, either side of it is fine.
You just didn't want to get straight in. By getting straight in, now you really limit yourself what you can do with the cue ball. That's just fine. Shouldn't be any problems here. Just connect the dots. As you can see, the 7, 8,
well, he
and
wants
9.
to stay away from the side pocket. Maybe just roll this in with some right-hand English. The cue ball about where it is right now would be ideal.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's done. And barring the unforeseen and the unpredictable, we're going to have a 7-7 deadlock.
I kind of like Harriman's style. He's very deliberate and not taking really much for granted. Most young players really don't play like that, you know.
No, that's true.
He's got a big future ahead of him here.
Oh, no question about it. He might even make a sponsor out of you, and that is nearly without precedent.
Game 14 goes to Harriman. He's not up to score 7 games apiece. And Kim Davenport's trying to claw his way back into his match against Nick Marner, trailing only by 2 games now, 8 games to 6. But he's, as I speak, he just missed the 2 ball, leaving Warner well, a fairly touchy shot on the 2, but it looks like he can put it down. And in the meantime, table number 2, I believe, it's Reed Pierce trailing Rodney Morris 8 games to 6 at the table in preparation to break the balls. And again, we're not up to 7 games apiece. Warner missing the 2, Harriman preparing to break the balls. Very nicely done once again, getting very little movement from the cue ball, pocketing 2 balls on the break. And he does have a shot on the 2, cutting it into the upper left-hand corner. Then he should be able to swing the cue ball, then 2 cushions in between the 6 and the 4, and dropping nicely down table where the 2 and the 9 are positioned. I don't know if the 2-9 combinations available, or if the 2 can pass the 9. I don't think the 2 can pass the 9, but I think that the 2-9 combination is available. So this shot right here may determine.
Does he have room to bridge this comfortably and use left English?
I don't know if the 6 ball is going to hamper his.
Looks like he's got room barely, but what I find on shots like this, Billy, I'd be interested in your perspective, is that it affects my aim. Sure. I'm worried about that 6 ball.
Yeah, anytime there's a ball that lies closely to the cue ball, you may even snooker the part of the cue ball where you need to aim with, or just the presence alone of the 6 ball sort of like breaks your strong concentration or breaks your concentration.
Well, sometimes it won't allow you to take the straightforward, straight back line of the cue stick that you would normally employ. Oh, he looks like he's got enough room here.
Yeah, no problem here. He'll just play it like the 6 wasn't even there. Davenport trailing now only by 1 game, 8 games to 7. He overcut the 1.
And I think he's going to have Mizerak behind the 4.
Yeah, this is one of the first times in the match where he's missed a ball where Mizerak steps to the table without a shot. It's happened a few times in reverse, and now it's happened against Mizerak. And by the way, at the end of this rack, we're going to change the tape. And while Mizerak ponders over this situation, I like to bring up a point. And the point I like to bring up is we want to show our appreciation for the sponsors of this event, Q-Master Billiards and also Brunswick Billiards. But most importantly, Q-Master Billiards and Barry Berman. Once again, he's put forth a fine effort, not only in producing the event, but organizing it and running it. And he does such a fantastic job.
Wow, what a nice hit Steve Mizerak made. And I think he's got a mistake. Yeah. Well, if he goes, he's got an excellent chance to get this safe, though. Do you go 1 rail or 2 rails and then the 1? Here, I kind of like going 1 rail and the 1. And he should be able to just miss the 9 ball. Or if he goes 2 rails. He for sure will miss the 9.
He would like to hit the rail before the 1. The 1 will then go into the 2. The cue ball then should go in between the 9 and the 6, perhaps even behind the 3 if he hits it hard enough. And I think it gives him a much better chance of walking away from the table in a favorable position.
And of course, you won't want to hit this very hard. Well, look at this. What was that? Seems like a minute and a half ago. Now it's Davenport Varner 80.
He got too deeply behind the 1, and he wasn't able to get the cue ball back up table because of how thickly he hit the 1 on the bottom side, leaving Mizerak not an easy shot, but a 1-2 combo. I don't know if the 1 will pass the 2.
No, I don't think so. Well, I think he's going to shoot here. Well, I go to almost any lengths to avoid having to play a combination. I'd rather play the safety. At any rate, he's got a nice angle to float beyond the 7. Now, what I would do with this, I think I would go 3 rails, or 2. Rather than try to get the speed down just right to go 1 rail past the 7. We'll know in a moment how he decides to go. He's being careful here because I guess it's conceivable cue ball could go 1 rail and hit the 7. He sure doesn't want to do that, and he doesn't want to scratch across the corner.
Goodman over Zarekis, 11 games to 8.
Oh, he came in underneath the 7. I didn't know he could do that. That's an excellent play.
Well, he really didn't do it with ease because the cue ball came very closely of contacting the 7. But even if it would have brushed the 7, he still would have been in pretty good shape.
Well, this isn't the easiest shot in the world here. Over a ball. Well, fortunately, all he
He's
has
pretty
to do
tall, though. He can reach it probably quite with ease.
well, all he has to do is make it. That helps. And he's going to have position on the 3 ball.
Well, he's going to elevate. Shooting this shot, he'd probably fare better if he went 2 cushions out of the upper right-hand corner. Really makes the shot play much easier by doing that, hitting it with much firmer. But he's positioned the cue ball kind of awkwardly now. He doesn't have the angle that he needs to have to get from the 3 to the 4. I don't believe the 4 will pass the 9 into the lower right-hand corner. So by electing to shoot the shot in the fashion that he did, he had to be careful that he didn't lose his market in terms of angle. He had to keep the right angle on the 3 to go cross table for position for the 4. He didn't do that.
He's got to be careful here. If he accidentally brushes the 4 ball with his cue and attempts to draw this, and the cue ball comes anywhere close to where the moved 4 ball was, that's a foul. Okay, didn't touch it at all.
He's overdrawn that shot slightly, and now he has to play the 4 ball in the side. I believe his intentions were to play position for the lower left-hand corner, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. He might have played that for the side. It's academic at any rate, as he appears to have this rack well in hand. He has a nice angle here. I would go 2 rails here, staying well away from his side. 1, 2. Going 1 rail there, just not quite natural. Now all he has to do is make the 7, come 1 rail out and above the 9, like so. And our score forthwith is going to be 8-7 advantage Harriman.
Okay, we're back, and Harriman's back at the table, preparing to break the balls in this 16th game of the match, leading Mizerak 8-7. It's figured to have been a close match, and that's exactly what we've gotten.
It most certainly has been an interesting one. A lot of nice position shots, defensive plays. And another look at the Harriman break. He didn't hit him solidly, but he did make a ball on the break, perhaps 2. No, 5's not going. I don't know that he's got room to squeeze that cue ball around the 8.
Oh, he
kick
can
it
do
to 1.
Yeah, he can do that. He can do that, and he'll probably get a good hold on the cue ball after contacting the 1 from behind. Whether or not he attempts to shoot this shot, I don't know, but he definitely can get behind the 1.
No, he's got to stretch a little bit for it, but he's got a good reach. There's a nice view of it on the screen.
He got too far behind the 1. Notice the cue ball gun went to the left after contacting the 1 from behind. Had he hit the 1 further to the right, the cue ball would then stayed in the position of where the 1 was, and Mizerak would have been solidly behind the 8, but that's not what he did. He executed the shot not nearly as...
I think I would take a shot at this and try to get the cue ball down behind the 2 and 3.
He may even, yeah, he'd make the 1 possibly. You have to cut it thinly, though, because you got the 9 for the possible... Well, he hit it too thinly.
He's lucky he got a rail there. Well, perhaps a fraction too easy, too. Okay, they're going to take a short break. And would you like us to stay and converse, or Well, perhaps Harriman is going to avail himself of his option to continue shooting. No, he's going to take a break too.
Well, as long as they're taking a break, Pat, why don't we take a break?
A short one. Now we're back to live action. As Harriman peruses the impending situation, having doubtless already decided what he is going to attempt to do.
And now that we're back, let me update you on some of the matches running simultaneously. In the adjacent table, Rodney Morris is ahead of Reed Pierce by the score of 9-8. Kim Davenport trails Nick Varner by the score of also 9-8. So those two matches seem to be quite close and interesting. And by the way, by the same score, 9-8.
I think that Danny's going to have to go 3 rails here. Trying to lag this in going 1 rail while you do have a good chance to get
You gotta go 2 rails, 1 or 2 rails. You gotta lag it in. You gotta lag it in.
It makes it so hard to make when you lag it in like that.
Yeah, but no, I disagree. I think the shot actually plays easier because by going 3 cushions, you have to hit it pretty hard, and I don't like shooting the shot like that.
But your accuracy is greatly increased.
Well, mine isn't. Maybe yours is. I guess that's just a matter of preference then on that particular shot, because I find that particular shot, I have more accuracy by lagging it in than I do of going 3 cushions, because 3 cushions really diminishes the accuracy somewhat more than lagging it for me. In the meantime, Mizerak ran into the 2, and now he's created a problem for himself. He has to play a 2, I believe a 2-5 combination, or maybe the 2 will bypass the 5.
I think it goes, and he's got position on the 3 on the side.
Well, he didn't have any problem.
Had a little angle.
Yeah, and he was able to bridge also, so comfortably. So therefore,
Morris leading Pierce 9-8. Is he going to have to go 2 rails here? Yeah, 1, 2. Nicely done.
The 5 to the 6 is the key to this rack. Actually, the
6 only goes in the 1 corner pocket. Well, I don't know if I'm crazy about that angle.
Why did he do that? Why wouldn't he try to get a little closer to the 5?
Especially being left-handed.
If he's going to draw this ball.
This is a tough shot.
Well, you know, he's created a little more distance on this shot than I would like to have.
Maybe he's going to play position to the side here. Let's see how he does this. Well, the 6 must go by the 9. But even so, I don't think he was happy with the angle he obtained.
And, you know, it's really surprised me that he didn't get closer to the 6 than he ended up. I myself would have tried to have gotten a lot closer. I mean, to the 5 than he did, closer to the 5.
Right. Well, at any rate, providing he has a full pocket on the 6 ball, he's got a nice 1 rail angle to get on the 8.
It looked like he needed the entire pocket on that shot, hitting it a little roughly, but nevertheless, it still fell in. And with the pocketing of the 8 and the 9, once again, Grady, this match has been ping-ponging back and forth. It's through the entire match.
That it has.
And it's Steve Mizerak now with 8 games. Danny Harriman also with 8 games. So the match figured to be very close. The odds makers had this match as a pick-em match prior to it starting. And it looks like the smarts were right one more time.
And as usual, as I've grown to expect here in Norfolk, a romantic city, no dearth of pulchritude passing underneath our very eyes. I mean, I could come to Norfolk and just take me a bag lunch and sit on a park bench and enjoy a mid-afternoon in the fall. That's the kind of city it is. 8 apiece, what more could one ask?
Now he struck the break quite nicely, hitting the 1 ball nice, very squarely. It looks like he may get the 4 ball. When you hit the 1 ball squarely, you have a tendency of getting balls, putting balls down on the break that you don't normally put down. Like the 4 ball was the last ball to roll, and it found the pocket because of the squareness of the hit. You got a lot of action out of that break, and very crucial time in the match, 8 games apiece.
Well, this is going to be hard for him to reach, being left-handed.
And he's not going to be able to stretch that easily either, so therefore he may have to shoot it with a bridge or opposite hand. I don't really see Mizerak shooting too many shots with his opposite hand.
No, he's got his own bridge. This is a stretch bridge made by our friend Mike Danner in Seattle. This thing will stretch out to something like 12 feet. No, you're right. I don't believe he plays opposite-handed. Okay, he's going to draw this a few inches. Oh, just stopped it.
Well, that was a nice shot because he's got the angle that he needs to play shape for the 5. After pocketing the 3, he then will go to the left the way we view the monitor. The 5 will then be able to be pocketed in both the upper right-hand corner and also the side.
It does have a good angle.
Hitting it very roughly, but still, nevertheless, he's gotten himself in reasonable line for the 5.
Well, the only thing could go wrong here is to go over behind the 7, and I'm sure he'll put enough low left English on it to avoid that. In fact, he can get away with only moving the cue ball 8 or 10 inches. Beautifully done. Now it's a Shirley Temple, a connect the dot, shoot and stop, however you choose to phrase it, in order for Mizerak to adopt a 1-game advantage. I like that, and he'll be sure to stay well away from the side pocket. Like so. Mike Massey was just down 3 or 4 games, and he's now trailed by only 1 game, 8 games to 9 against Charlie Williams. 9-8, Steve Mizerak. This would be a big win for Steve if he were to win this event, Billy.
Oh, super win for him. Super win. But if he's going to win it, he's going to have to stay on the winner's side.
Look at that, 10-9, Varner over Davenport. And you say that because Steve's our friend, but his endurance is suspect.
And it has been for the past several years. Anytime he finds himself on the loser side, he runs out of gas because Saturdays become very lengthy for a lot of people. And if you don't have good stamina on a Saturday, you usually find yourself eliminated from the tournament, and that's usually what happens to Steve.
Well, I concur with your earlier evaluation in that Steve has been pretty fortunate a few times in this match. Here again, he doesn't make anything on the break, and he leaves a very difficult shot. I wouldn't even shoot this. I believe the percentage of selling out is higher than the percentage of making the combination and having a shot on the 1 where I could get on the 2 ball. What do you think?
I agree totally. Because I usually do with you, Grady, because lately I find that you're usually right, and I really don't have much future disagreeing with you.
Oh, no, we just have fun doing that. The truth is, although it pains me to admit this, that in the history of our broadcast partnership, I think we've been about equally correct. Now, that having been said, I don't know if I can sleep tonight.
I don't know either, because your phone will be ringing off the hook saying that you're totally wrong.
Number of ways to play safe here, too. But if you can see the left side of the 1, what's wrong with just knocking the 1 over by the 6 ball and trying to bring the cue ball back in the vicinity of the 7-9?
Oh, I like that shot.
Now, going this way,
I like this.
This is kissable. You can't control the 1
No,
as
there's
well.
no kiss here.
No, I mean if he banks the 1 to the end rail.
There's no kiss if he banks the 1 to the end rail.
No, but
I like this. There's no kiss. He'll position the cue ball possibly behind the 6 or behind the 5. There's no kiss here. I like this shot quite a bit. I like it a lot, and if he doesn't shoot it, they'll really be disappointed in the young man.
But you can't knock the 1 down to the middle of the end rail and also control the cue ball.
What is he doing here? This is not me. I would never do that. Forget it.
Well, when I teach, one of the things I tell young aspiring players with a modicum of talent is this: you never lag anything quite a distance. It's very difficult, and usually the results are predictable and the reward not especially satisfying. You don't leave great players on the same end of the table with the cue ball and the object ball unless you have to.
Nope, he didn't really get it where he wanted it.
Well, this isn't bad, though. I don't think, and I have a frontal view of this particular shot, I don't think he can hit the one thickly enough to have the 9-ball to kind of stop the cue ball.
I think he can. I think that he can hit the 1 ball thickly enough to come from behind the 9 and then reposition it behind either the 9 or the 2,
well,
sitting the 1 ball up table. I don't like what he's looking to do. He's looking to mass that. He doesn't need to do that.
Well, he's looking at using a lot of left fingers so he can get away with a little.
Well, maybe you're right. From now that I'm leaning over in front of you, from your
like
vantage point, it looks like that he cannot hit the 1 ball thickly enough.
10 apiece. Varner and Davenport.
10 apiece, Varner and Davenport.
As one might have suspected. I don't know what he's doing here. Trying to twist it a little bit, loading it up with left English. Tough shot.
I don't know what he had in mind. The length of the table, finessing it like he did. What did he expect to have happen? I have no idea. No idea. Sort of like it's a mystery to me. Shooting a curious shot like that. Mizerak has a shot at the 1 ball at the upper right-hand corner. Nicely struck, setting the cue ball nicely executed in between the 2 and the 3.
And notice how he found the natural path for the cue ball to traverse.
He certainly did, and wasn't really an easy shot. Executed the shot perfectly.
Kim Davenport pocketed 4 balls on the break, knotted up at 10 apiece with Nick Varner, and has no shot.
You would think if you pocket 4 balls on the break, you should have a shot on any ball on the table, but that's not the case.
And ever thus do the foibles of modern-day 9-ball continue. Who'd have thought it? Nice shot by Steve Mizerak. Beautiful touch by the big man, I might add. Now he'll stay well away from everything here. I think he'll come out completely around the 7 ball here. 1 rail with a little right English. And you couldn't place it with your hand in a better position. Now he'll float over to the right side of the 5, or of the 6 here, I mean.
Yeah, he'll just float, yeah. He'll just float down. Oh, he said. He's left-handed. He may have a problem here.
Yeah, he has to stretch that stick across the entire length of his body just about. Like so. No particular problem, it would seem. And Kim Davenport played a nice safety. I got to keep you posted on that thrilling match a little bit.
Nick Varner behind the 6 and 4, not able to hit the 3 ball, finds himself in a very, very difficult situation.
Yeah, but Varner views that kind of situation, we've spoken about this in the past, as an opportunity.
He may be a little awkward on the 8 here, so therefore he has to hit this shot with a good stroke, and he cannot afford to cut it. He has to hit it fully. And he's done a nice job.
Well, that was a rather workmanlike out to adopt a 2-game advantage. And at this juncture,
Yes.
has certainly become a prohibitive favorite on the good-breaking Brunswick Gold Crown.
Yeah, there isn't a better time in the match to have a 2-game advantage than now at 10 games to 8, finding yourself on the hill. This is where you have your maximum equity in your 2-game advantage. 10 games.
Never to be attained again, so he wants to make sure he gets a good solid hit on that 1 ball.
He will not have another opportunity to break the balls, so therefore he must concentrate on the break.
I'm not going to talk much about this kind of thing. I really have a lot of positive things to think about in my life right now, but lately, the last year or so, when I'm in this position, if I don't break and run out, I never return to the table. Leading 10-8, 10-9.
It kind of seems that way, but I don't think that's really truly the case. It just seems that way. Well, let's take a look at this record. He has to contact the 1 solidly. This will be his last break, and he could close out Harriman without ever even leaving him out of his chair. But he's come up dry on the break.
Look at this, Nick Varner got the 3-ball face.
I don't know how he did it with the people that are here.
Well, he's done it so many hundreds of times that it's become second nature.
Break 9 times out of 10.
Well, Danny's going to have to roll out here. He cannot see the 1 ball.
Why don't we swing our camera on that table, Rick, and find out.
Maybe we can catch
it's 10-10 over there with Varner and Mizerak. Excuse me, Varner and Davenport. And that's where Davenport is. The 3-ball is to the left of the 9-ball. 9-ball in between the cue ball and the 3-ball.
He's got a shot to put Nick behind the 6-8, which are by the lower left-hand side.
10-10. That was an exciting match.
Provided he hits the bottom of the 3-ball here. Nice medium speed. Don't want to hit this too hard. Staying down a little extra time, like that.
Oh, narrowly missing the pocketing of the 3 in the side. Let's get back to the feature match where Harriman kicked the 1, and it looks like he's going to get rewarded for it also. Taking the 1 ball, then falling behind the 7, but of course Mizerak can see the 1.
What's the matter with taking a shot at the 9?
You have to take a shot at
it. You have to. There's no good safety.
There's a good safety built into the billiard here. He can make the 9-ball and also play it safe at the same time.
Rodney Morris won his match 11 games to 8 over Reed Pierce. And I played over, cut this just a fraction. Because it's hard to hit this.
Narrowly missing the 9, but...
well, that's about as good as you'll ever see that billiard struck.
Yes, nevertheless, he still was able to come away with a nice safety. Nick Varner on the other table. What about the action there? Backing the 3 cross-side, positioning the cue ball behind the 4. It looks like Davenport's in a position now where there's really no escape. Really no escape. And I know the people out there are kind of wondering where he is because the camera's not over there, but
well, we need to watch this 1 ball.
Let's just take a look at this shot here.
2 rails he wants to go, not 1. Could accidentally make the 9 here, believe it or not. 1, 2. And it's a beautiful shot.
Okay, well, while Mizerak's on, let's go to the other table now, Rick. Mizerak's still in his chair. We'll swing over to the other table, and Davenport is behind the 4. The 3-ball is in the center of the table. That's the 3-ball, the ball that's in the center of the table. The 4-ball is in front of the cue ball. The 6-ball to the right of the cue ball. He's really got problems here. Mizerak's locked up. The 1 and 6 are frozen together. He has no shot. They're both pondering over the situation they're confronted with.
Well, if Mizerak's got a safety, could use right English and play the cue ball down to the end rail and back down the middle of the table.
All right, let's swing back to the featured table, and we did. Mizerak is now in preparation to shoot this possible safety, trying to position the cue ball behind the 3, falling a little short, but oops, the 6 came in between the 1 ball and the cue ball. Now back to the other table very quickly. Davenport at the table. This could be the last shot of the match for him. He doesn't want to shoot it. I wouldn't want to shoot it either, you know. It's so hard to pull it back when you're in this position.
Well, Davenport is possessed of every element that comprises champions. And he wants to give himself the highest percentage chance to win this game and match.
Oh, great hit. great hit, but is it good enough for him to escape the trouble that he was in?
No.
Obviously not. The position of the cue ball and the 3-ball ideally positioned for Nick. All the balls are spread nicely. It doesn't look like it's. It doesn't look like it's going to be a happy ending for
Mizerak has
them.
a ball in hand. And he played a great match. He certainly can't be faulted for the effort. Now Steve has to be careful to get the right kind of angle to get from the 2 to the 3. And
A straight-in shot on the 2 is actually ideal, and I believe he's attained the angle on the 2 that he needed.
Yes, you are right.
No, he's fallen much short of the mark here, much short of the mark.
Well, I'd be trying to put him behind the 6 ball here, would I?
Now, I'll tell you the truth. Varner has positioned the cue ball in what I consider a very difficult position considering the shot that he had on the 6. The shot on the 7 is by no means automatic. By no means is it automatic.
Man, Charlie Williams, winner of the
Let's go over to the other table, Rick. Let's go over to the other table, Rick. This shot is really inconsequential. Let's stay here. Let's go to the other table. No, we don't need to do that. Varner pocketed the 7. He pocketed the 7. It looks like it's going to be Varner over Davenport by the score of 11 games to 10.
Well, he sure made a good shot. That was one tough angle. Well, Steve Mizerak elected to cut it to 3 ball. I don't know what the problem is here. You got to go rail first, right?
Well, just no, you don't need to go rail first. You just,
Well, I would go rail first because hitting ball first, it's conceivable he could run into the 5 ball.
no, there's no way. The angle doesn't. He doesn't have the angle to run into the 5. He'll stay far beneath the 5. Far beneath the 5. He's got too much of an angle to go over the 5 here.
Well, I'd go rail first. Now, Billy, you and I are going to have a talk. When I say the 5 ball comes into play, I expect, yes, sir, Mr. Matthews. Don't tell me
Far
that's far
beneath the
beneath.
5. I mean, the man rolled it with inside English. I mean, he played it very poorly. In the meantime, he's like a perfect line.
Yeah, we came real close to disaster.
A rail first puts you on a great distance from the 4. If you go behind the 5 on that shot, you're not supposed to come to tournaments or cross the street.
Well, I tell you what, this has become more interesting as time progresses. Danny gets out here, it's going to be 10 games to 9. The crowd abuzz after the Varner victory in that thrilling contest. Now 2 rails here, not 1. This could very well end up 10 apiece here too, Phil.
Yes, it could. Very easily.
And he's got a nice angle. He can just follow this down to the in rail and out for position on the 8 ball inside pocket. And again, sure perfect.
Most of the other players are entering the room now in preparation for the upcoming matches of the 9 o'clock schedule. The 9 o'clock show, that is. This has been a rather long match between Harriman and Mizerak, hasn't it?
Yes, but I don't see either one of them taking too much time. It just is one of those matches that has had every ingredient, safety, intricate position plays, 10 to 9.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting match. There's been a lot of decision making out there in this match. We've seen a lot of real good pool. A lot of different strategies, a lot of options were available to the players. This was a very interesting match in that regard.
The 4 Philippine champions in this tournament are all playing each other now. I think Bustamante
Plays Luat.
plays Luat and Efren plays Andam.
Andam, yeah. All the Filipino champions have fallen on the bottom side of the board. And by chance, by the way. It wasn't intended that way. It's by chance. It just so happened that that's what happened. And now they have all met. And I think this is the 4th round of the U.S. Open. So the likelihood of 2 Filipino players in the finals isn't very likely at this point, is it?
No. Earl Strickland plays Takahashi from Osaka, Japan, and he's played very well.
The players on the top side of the board, Johnny Archer and now Nick Varner, are the 2 big threats up there. Not to discount Rodney Morris, he just defeated Reed Pierce. But it's the bottom side of the bracket that just loaded up with talent. Loaded up with talent. Earl Strickland, Rodolfo Luat, Efren, the Magician Reyes, probably the best player in the world today. Well, I should say definitely the best player in the world today. And very possibly the best all-around player the world may have ever seen.
That's very true. He is making shots and making that cue ball dance with perpetrations not due until the next century. No, they weren't due out until after the year 2000. I love Efren. What a likable guy he is. He's just as friendly and personable and intelligent guy, too. One of these nights I'm going to have to entice him into a night of nocturnal drudgery together. I don't mean he and I. You get the idea. Well, Danny's going to have to roll out here, and where to? I think perhaps behind the 8 ball. You see a better play?
Well, he may roll out for a jump shot because, you know, he's very adept at jumping over balls.
Well, there's no place to push out where he can reach it, though, for a jump shot.
Well,
right?
I don't know. He may just roll out for a jump.
Well, certainly this is a critical moment in this very exciting match. A mistake here, almost certainly the end.
No flash cameras, please. No flash cameras.
Take a little sip of water and
He's
rethink it.
really in a very tough position here. He doesn't really have many options, if any. I don't see what he could do. You say roll out behind the 8 and take the kick on the 1. I don't know about
Well, I would
that.
take it on the long side, though, not the short side. And he's got that shot again where he could leave the cue ball behind the 8. He might make the 1. Or Steve Mizerak might be tempted to take it. Who knows? I think our erstwhile tournament director and ACCUSTATS genius, Pat Fleming, and he is all of those things. I think he's saying to Danny Harriman he'd like to introduce the remainder of the 9 o'clock matches. Well, here we go. Now, I don't like rolling out to here. This makes the kick too tough. He rolled out where he can hit the left side of the 1, I believe.
There's a kiss there.
There's a kiss there, right. And my rule applies here. You cannot shoot the cue ball by the 1 ball into the pocket, therefore there's a kiss. It's irrefutable, unchangeable. Almost like what happens when the irresistible force meets the immovable object.
But not in all cases. I disagree. There are
Well, no, you
times.
can beat it sometimes with certain kinds of English, but not with the cue ball firmly wedged against the on rail.
All right.
One would do well to escape with his hide from this kind of live balls.
Mizerak actually using good judgment and not accepting the shot.
Oh, of a certainty. Well, I don't know what young Harriman has in mind. Perhaps momentarily he'll be good enough to enlighten us.
Now we think that if there's a kiss here, And Harriman disagrees. And he was right.
Boy, he barely beat it. Well, as it happens, I stand not only edified but also reproached in my faulty assessment. All right. Cue ball goes into the 8, preferably the bottom side of the 8. Oh, he hit it much thinner. He doesn't have a rail yet. Yes, he does.
3 ball gives him a rail. He would have struck that ball a little bit firmer than he did. He would have pocketed the 1.
Well, he must have been trying to really thin the outside of the 1 there.
What I thought he was trying to do was hit a little more deeply behind the 1, sending the 1 near the bottom cushion, close to the first and second diamond between there. But it's good speed.
I would stay well away from the side pocket. I wouldn't care what happened as long as I didn't go close to that side. He'll want to come back 1 rail, low right English. And he needs to go a little farther. Now he has to use inside English or go into the 3. Right?
It looks like he may have to go into the 4 here.
Well, he can beat that by hitting it fairly easy, and
by hitting it softly, he's not going to get as much deflection.
right. This is one of the prettiest shots in all of pool.
But I still think that the 4 ball is an interfering ball. Even though if he hits the shot softly, I still think that the 4 ball is in the way.
Not if he loads it up with inside English. Now is he going to draw the ball? No, I can't tell. Well, he overcut it.
Yeah, he overcut it, and he repositioned the 4 ball now on the side cushion, and actually it's blocked the pocket for the 3. After pocketing the 2 now in the upper left-hand corner, he's going to have to take the, well, he's running to the 8.
Well, he's got a... Does he have an angle for the cross-side bank? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like he does have an angle for the cross-side bank.
Looks like he's going to have to shorten it up some. Perhaps I missee it.
But there's other shots available too. He's looking like he wants to cut this in the corner, or possibly even play the cue ball somewhere behind the 6, but that seems to be very risky. He has a few options. Which one he uses, I don't know. It looks like he's trying to position the 3 ball now somewhere down in the area of the 6 and 9. And he's done a pretty good job. The 3 and the 6 aren't really lined up to where the combination is available. He's left quite a bit of distance between the cue ball and the 3 ball. Doesn't really have much equity and safety here.
He might be able to just bank the 3 down to the other end rail. I think he's got room to maybe park the cue ball behind a 9 here too.
It seems like that's what he's attempting to do.
Hard not to strike this too hard though. Let's see what he does.
Well, he's left Mizerak a shot.
Well, here, you correct me if I'm mistaken. I think you have to go all out to make the ball, no English, and just hope you get a shot on the 4. I don't think you can finesse or get cute here.
Well, it looks like you're going to be able to hit short of the side. You're going to miss the 8. You're going to come down table. You're going to hit the bottom cushion. And you may go either into the 9 or even in between the 9 and the 6. Let's see what happens here. 1, 2. You're going to miss the 8. Hit the bottom cushion. No, brushing the 9 into the 6. And you're right. That's what you need to do. You have to throw caution to the wind there because the shot was just too crucial for you to try to, sacrifice the accuracy to control the cue ball.
By hitting that with no English and that kind of speed, he kept his make percentage up pretty high. Now he's in pretty good position here. Only ways you can mess this up or get up right next to the 8. You just spin this around. I'd go all the way around the 8 here, I think, maybe 2 rails.
Maybe 1 rail to the side. 2 rails into the 8. Oh my.
Well, what did I say?
No, he's got a problem here. Yeah, you know what? The way I would have played that shot, I wouldn't have applied any English on that shot. I would have played it 1 cushion, hitting the 2nd cushion, playing position for the 8 on the right-hand side. There's really much that can go wrong with that shot. The only thing you need to do is pocket the ball. naturally, he elected to go 2 cushions toward the 8, figuring that if he hit the 8, he'd end up with a shot. But what happened was he narrowly missed the 8, and he's found himself now in a very awkward position, and something that he's going to have a problem dealing with.
Well, he can kill this, I think. Low left English. Maybe not if he has to stretch for it. His other alternatives to cut it in the corner, low right English. Again, a very viewable shot, enjoyable to witness, but difficult. Or he's got a safety, but he doesn't want to play safety. He wants to run out here and lay claim to this particularly hard-fought match. Well worth taking a little extra time. All right, low left English. Now he can kill this. I mean, cue ball doesn't go very far.
Oh my, the cue ball almost found the bottom of the left-hand corner pocket. Once again now.
The thrills are not over.
No, the suspense is still there. You know, he doesn't have a gimme shot on the 9 by any means.
Well, I find this shot, this is one of my toughest shots, pal. I don't know about you.
This has been an exhausting rack, hasn't it, for
Yeah,
everyone.
we're not even playing it. We're
Yeah.
talking about it. Well, what do you think? You rip it across the side?
Rip it across the side. I don't think I'm going to rip it anywhere. You know, I think I'm going to place a good, solid shot here in terms of pocketing the ball and play safe at the same time.
Well, you can't think safety here.
Well, I kind of like banking across side with a good speed.
Well, that's one of the reasons. You never scratch.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have a chance to get it safe. It might go
Exactly.
2 across the side.
I'm surprised he shot the shot that he did because of the scratch possibility. And had the scratch possibility not been there, then I would have agreed with his choice. But
One other thing, too, you have to bridge out of the corner, which I think makes it a lot more difficult than ever. At any rate, it's academic as we look at a 10-10 score. Everything you'd want in the match. And as I mentioned earlier, this may be, I don't know, a little bit cavalier of me to so phrase it. Am I wrong to occasionally want to come to the table when I have a 1 or 2 game lead and I'm on the hill like I watch these other guys do? Is it incorrect or inconceivable that I might someday like have an open shot? Then if I don't get out, I have no complaint.
I tell you the truth, I do agree with you. I've been watching you play now for 40 years. And I never have seen you come to the table.
I never come to the table in the last game. I never even, I just sit there in the chair. They either make the 9 on the break or it's a Shirley Temple.
That's definitely going to be a record that's going to forever stand. Okay, he pocketed the ball on the break. The 1 ball is working its way down table in perfect position, I might add. The cue ball in between the 1 ball and also the 2 ball to the right. So therefore, the 2 ball is conveniently placed. The 4 ball will be the ball he'll have to pocket after playing the 2. That lies near the right-hand side pocket, near the cushion. The 5 ball is up table to the left of the cue ball. The 6 and the 8 seem to be the only real problem, if you can call anything a problem out there. It's the position of the 6.
I have to say, Billy, that, and I'd tell Steve this too, after him not getting out there with that great opportunity, I don't think any power on earth could have kept Danny from having a nice shot on the 1 and the ball's wide open. They do seem to respond in kind.
Well, all eyes in the arena are on Harriman right now, and this is the only action in the arena right now is right here on the
Center court,
table.
as they say in tennis.
There's I would venture to say 200, 250, 300 people or more. I don't know.
The ACCUSTATS Star Chamber.
Very quiet out there right now. Is it tough to play under these conditions?
It's not tough to play when you got a straight end and all the balls wide open. That's, of course, it is a little harder to get to put the last rack away.
But this last rack seems to be there for the taking. The balls are spaced fairly nicely on the table. Sort of like connect the dots. Notice the position of the 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All you got to do is, come back on the 5. You're right in line for the 6. The 7 ball very closely positioned to this upper left-hand corner.
May I take it, almighty director, an overseer that due to the length of this tape there will not be an interview? Okay. If you want to order this tape or anything else from the fabulous ACCUSTATS library, you have simply to call 1-800-828-0397.
You're beautiful. Well, he's straight in on the 6, so he's going to have to draw the cue ball back a little bit. And then he'll just draw the cue ball toward the 8. And like I mentioned before, you know, he has a tremendous stroke. He doesn't have any problem drawing the cue ball.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. So this shot should be really quite easy for him to execute.
3 balls separating Danny Harriman from victory. There's one. And he even put icing on the cake. He's got a slight angle.
Slight angle is
So he
right.
didn't have to shoot the 9 in with the cue ball on the rail. And my old friend, I want to tell you what a great pleasure it is to work with you again.
Oh, a little roughly, but the pocket accepted the shot. He wanted it a little cleaner than what he did. He's taking a deep breath now after the narrow escape there. He's taking a deep breath in preparation to pocket the match-winning ball.
Well, it certainly has been fun. And with that, I think I'll bid you good evening.
All right, thanks a lot, Grady, for stopping up. So in behalf of Grady Mathews, this is Bill Incardona saying thanks a lot once again for supporting the ACCUSTATS. Give Pat a call. Grady mentioned earlier, remember, 1-800-828-0397. And we will be back very shortly with Efren Reyes and Leonardo Armstrong.